Welcome everyone. I'm sitting here as usual with my colleague Fiona from Scottish Independence Podcast. We're also here with Wilma and Judith of Chain of Freedom Scotland, and we're really looking forward to finding out a bit more about where the idea for it came and how you are with it now. But I mean, of course, basically the idea is to form a human chain across Scotland, right along the canal from the one end to the other. God, it's an ambitious project. I don't know how, I'm sure you've calculated how many people you need. Just tell us where the idea came from.
Actually came from a programme called Cree de Cree, and it's Siobhan that runs that. And one of my friends, Matt, was on one day, Matt Adrum, and he was on Cree de Cree one day, and he said to me, "I'm on this. Will you come along and listen to me? And if I miss out anything, type it in at the bottom, you know." I says, "No bother." So yes, along I went, and I was commenting along on this programme, and I'd says to look, and Siobhan said, "Look, this is a great idea that I've been thinking about, think of the Baltics and how they did this human chain, and I was like, that is a fantastic idea." Mm-hmm. So I'd said to her, "Look, if you want a hand with anything, we organise things." Wilma and I are both very well, what's the word? Seasoned.
So yes,
seasoned. Very well seasoned in organising things, because we organise quite a lot of marches and things up here in the Highlands. So that was fine. So she'd contacted me after the show, and I think it was run on a Friday, and by the Sunday, all of a sudden, I was the organiser. So I was like, "Oh, this has gone a bit from there to there, So okay, this is what's happening." It is a fantastic idea. Is it going to be challenging? And has it been challenging? I'm not going to lie to you, it has.
Very much so.
However, we are extremely excited about it. Mm-hmm. We're enthused. We're basically eating, sleeping, and breathing it at the moment. It will be such a fantastic showcase, not just for Scotland, but for other countries as well, that is wanting and not stopping or campaigning for their independence as well. We're a country of 5 million, and there's many other countries that have regained their independence, and why can't Scotland? I think it's also an event that everybody can join in. We're absolutely non-party affiliated, so that's why we have been contacting most yes and indie parties first of all, because we can get them as groups to sign up. And if they sign up as groups, we've got numbers, because the all-important thing is numbers for us. So we did the calculation, and from the Union Canal right across to, it's something like 66 miles. So within 66 miles, we have got, for people to stand hand to hand, we'll need round about 75 to 78,000 people. Wow. However, if we don't get that, our plan is that everybody takes a saltire and has that in between each person. Yeah. We can do it that way. But I mean, we are really quite enthusiastic, and we're quite sure that we'll get that. Everybody was spoken to personally or through different events has been really enthusiastic, and yes, we'll definitely go to it. So yes, but the thing is, it's getting people to sign up. That's our biggest challenge. Wilma and I did lots of research into how much yes groups and I groups, etc., indie parties and bits and pieces, and there was over 350. And we contacted each one of them, and there's a lot of them are actually what we like to call as sleeping.
Yes. They may resurrect themselves.
But they're hoping that with this happening, that they will actually regroup and start working together again. I think that COVID had probably a lot to do with it, whereas a lot of people stopped meeting and there was not so much events going on. So therefore, they've just sort of slid gently away. But yes, there's lots more people coming to us as individuals as well. Wilma's the numbers lady. She gets all the numbers and the groups and everything together. I just come on and blether to everybody.
That's okay.
That's about the background. We have been in touch with Scottish Canals. We're constantly in touch with different groups, it's the emails out, etc., to try and enthuse the groups and the hubs to actually enthuse people in their area. We're both part of InverYess in InverYess, obviously, and we have got a great group here it's been on and has done different things. We're organising buses, we're organising different things. They've got merchandise, they've got leaflets made, and they're handing out leaflets at every stall they're on, or indeed any event they're at. So yes, and we're getting people to sign up so they can come on the bus to go down with us.
Fantastic. I'm in Glasgow Northwest, and I know that they've taken on to look after a little bit. It'll be up in Annie's Land, probably north side of Glasgow, where the canal goes through. Yeah. So I think that's a really good way to do it. And I know what you mean about groups that are sleeping.
Yes.
I mean, it's just great to do it in itself, but if it also has the knock-on effect, it wakes a few groups up. I mean, fair enough. We know people got into the habit of doing Zoom meetings and everything during COVID, didn't we? But actually getting out and doing something. Actually, one of the things that struck me about it all was the symbolism of it. Just the whole symbolism of it, of holding hands like that. And yes, it might be that there'll be flags in between us, but that also just adds to the symbolism of it. And that can have a big emotional effect, I think, on people to see that. I mean, Fiona, I think, didn't you go on the hands round the Parliament?
Oh, yeah, I did. In fact, that was the first activism that I actually got involved with. And I can't even remember now what it was about. It was one of the threats against the Scottish Parliament. And a call went out, anybody who's around, could you go to Holyrood? And we're all going to hold hands. And within about 3 days' notice, there was about 3,000 people there. And next thing you know, you're holding hands with complete strangers. Although the thing I did feel a bit with that one, and I'm sure you've got plans instead, was you did that for about 5 minutes. There was lots of photos. And then people are going, oh, what do we do now? Because there was nothing else. There was no kind of speeches, or if you're coming all the way from InverYess, for example, to a canal, you probably want something more than a 5-minute photo op and then go back home. So what have you got planned?
Yeah, how do you see the day unfolding?
Every section we've got the 11 sections are going to be subdivided. Now, it's be like 11A, B, C, D, and then that section will be, say it was 11B, then Judith's hub and maybe Fiona's hub and your hub, Marlene, may share that section depending on the number that you've actually got coming. So as we've got enough to fill that 1 kilometre link.
Yeah.
So us, say the 3 contacts for each of your respective hubs, we would like you to sort of take ownership of that section. The 3 of you work together, and not just within your own groups, but go out to your community, get flyers. We'll be giving you a list of all the individuals that we've got that actually wish to attend the same section as you're in charge of.
Oh, yeah.
And anybody that's offered to be a steward, anybody that's offered to do any first aid for that section. We've also got musicians that have offered to play just within the chain as well. So they could be playing their instrument, just maybe standing next to somebody that's holding the links. And so, like Judith said, we're trying to involve all of the groups. This isn't just Judith and I and the other admins' chain. We want everybody to feel that this is their chain. It's our own Scottish independence. And you want to make this as successful and as positive as possible. So we'll have our meeting time, which is going to be set shortly. The plan in our head is that everybody will be at the pre-arranged time, and you'll know within your own group anybody that maybe can't walk much of a distance, or those that are perhaps in a wheelchair or are not able or less able to walk far. So obviously they would go to the nearest to your spot. Then the next person would walk a wee bit along. The next person walk a wee bit further, until keep going until the chain's full. Once everyone's in place, we would intend to stand for, I think it was approximately 20 minutes we were saying, because there'll be people playing music. We have some that have said that they're going to be kayaking up and down the canal.
Great, yeah, great.
We have got a lot of people that have offered drones for virtually every section of the canal.
Fantastic.
We have Independence Live TV that are going to be streaming it all, as well as other podcasters, perhaps even yourselves.
Aye.
And
we'll be there.
interest from media, not just in this country, interest in media from other countries as well that will be coming along.
Yeah,
so the plan would be to stand together in solidarity, cross-party, everybody, and dogs as well. Once it disperses, there will obviously be the people that were playing music in the chain. They'll keep playing. As well. Those that wish to, we will be dispersing in time for them to get on their buses and go to the rally at Glasgow, because there is both of the events on at the same time. The Glasgow marchers start at 12 o'clock, and so by the time they actually reach Glasgow Green would be the time that anyone within the chain would be finished and would be able to get in their buses and their cars, and everybody that wants to can converge on Glasgow Green.
Oh, what a good idea.
Imagine the spectacle that would be. There'll be the people that are there with their stalls and that. I mean, there's people like Indie 2 Cafe is going to be within the chain and that as well. We're going to have choir singers there within the chain. Pipes and drums. Soralba, pipes and drums, they're going to be within the chain. So we'll have all of that going on at the time of the chain, but also then for those that wish to can all converge onto Glasgow Green along with the same time. And even watching this with a drone and things like that, it is going to be phenomenal.
We were saying how fabulous if all the chains all brought a yes stone and left that behind, and you'd have a permanent reminder of where the chain had been.
Well, that would be, yes. We've already thought on that. So I've been in touch with Alison Rollo.
Oh yeah.
And she's part of the Stones as well.
Stones,
and I'd sort of put something, and I'd thought about it, and the only issue with that was I would be more sceptical about that, simply because of people actually leaving stones by the canal.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
yes, I do.
We've got to be mindful of how things will seem to others. Will people from Scottish Canals complain about that? Would other people complain about that?
I mean, it is a really attractive idea.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I think you do. You're right. You have to think about what would be the reaction from the Scottish Canals folk and other folk going around. And
if we're meeting at the Green, because the Yes Stones are always there, they've got the cairn. So maybe we all paint a special "I was a link in the chain" stone.
Yes,
and then we have a big pile in Glasgow.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic. We've got suggestions, as you can imagine, firing at us from all angles, as well as the ones that are going on in our own heads. And one of it was that if everybody took a wee carrier bag with them and did any litter picking,
cars or that's a really good idea.
And just to make sure that actually the canal is going to be in a better state than when we actually got there.
That's a great idea.
I've been involved in doing the marches and the rallies and etc. and organising them since maybe 2016, 2017. And we always leave the area clearer than what was when we arrived. It's like whenever you hear the pipes, you get a sense of pride. Yeah. And you didn't ever want to let that down. And I think that's the very same. We get quite emotional at times about things. There's a lady contacted when we first set up, and she'd commented on, I'm from Sweden and I'm going to be taken across a busload of people. And I was like, no way, this is fantastic. So said lady arrived in InverYess last weekend.
We met her.
And so we met her and some of our friends who came down, and we went out for the afternoon and we had a blether. We went to the Yes Hub and did a wee bit of live footage there at the Yes Hub. Then we went out for dinner. We went to a few of the local hotspots. And it was very nice. It was very nice. And yes, they had a great time. So she's taken along a busload of people. They're coming from Sweden to do this.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, so and my message to everybody was, if there's one lady from Sweden who's not Scottish, is so passionate about us.
If I'm remembering correctly, it was Estonia that did that human chain. Have you contacted them? Because you'd think that they would be keen to pick up this idea.
We thought about it at the start, and there was 2 gents that actually contacted us. And basically they said, look, we did it years and years ago. There was actually a human chain, I think, done around about 87 or something like that, in Scotland. I think it was. And there was one of the gentlemen had contacted us and says, look, it's a huge amount of work. And we were like, oh no. And then he was like, yes, it is. And so therefore, yes, we are in contact. But I mean, again, it's like everything else. People come on and they'll give us ideas and they'll give us their views, and which is absolutely fantastic, because we have got a folder full of people saying, do you know what, we think this might work, and this might work. So whilst we go along, because it's still October, so we're still rolling with it, if you understand. Yeah. So once we get everything together, there'll be more people comes in and helps us. So yes, it's amazing. Yes, you're absolutely right. Estonia did an amazing job. The problem is, I've not yet ever heard of anybody in these Baltic states that actually came and says, oh, but I think for the day, I'll just go along to the Kelpies and I'll just stand there. So they did what they were told, and they went where they were told to go.
Exactly.
But you see, us Scots,
we're Scottish.
I'll just come along. Yes. So we've got Glasgow, we've got Edinburgh. It's split into the 11 groups, which will be subdivided. We allocate that groups out to all the hubs. Please, more hubs get involved, because this is going to be amazing. We allocate the places, and the hubs will have their own members and that as well. And then we've got a continuous chain of people and flags and everything all the way along the canal. For all those that don't want to register, is we're going to have heaps of people in some places and none in the other. And then the whole chain, the effect is going to be gone. Certainly, I was speaking to a lady at the weekend that was part of the 1987. She thinks it was like a CND chain. And she says that's what happened. A lot of people, there were about 6,000 at the Falkirk wheel, and there was big gaps, and the actual chain, it never did make its way all the way like they wanted to.
Listening to the pair of you talk, I'm sitting here thinking, well, if anyone can get that chain to go right across Scotland, even if there are a few gaps, that is still going to be a massively effective.
It's going to be amazing. And the support that we're getting, I mean, Judith and I, like Judith was saying, we've helped organise a few marches in InverYess, and the ones that we've had in InverYess have always been cross-party or non-party political. It's only been for independence, and that's what we're trying to emphasise with this march. Saying that, we have actually got political big hitters from all the parties, and they are coming as themselves with their families.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
No grandstanding, nothing at all. You come as so-and-so's mum, so-and-so's dad that supports independence, and that is it. Everybody understands that, and everybody's on board with it. And they think that is the way forward. It is for all of the independence grassroots supporters to be together, to galvanise, and to get this. Alan Cumming did an absolutely amazing video. I couldn't believe it when that landed in my mailbox, my inbox.
Hello everybody, I'm Alan Cumming, and I am here to tell you about the Chain of Freedom, which is taking place on Saturday, October the 14th. What's going to happen is people who support independence from all walks of life, from all political parties, let's leave political partisanship to one side, we're all going to stand together on the canals, the Union, Forth and Clyde canals, in an act of solidarity for independence for Scotland. I hope you can join us.
If some other of the people that we've been gently persuading, I wouldn't say haggling or harassing, but gently persuading and informing them about it. If there's some of them come along or do videos and that for us as well, there's more press attention than we already have. It doesn't make them any better an independent supporter than anybody else, because we're all the same. But it's for the press attention.
The bit that I hadn't realised was involved, which I think is brilliant, is the idea of giving groups responsibility for a chunk, because otherwise it ends up it's all on you.
People to get a sense of ownership.
A bit of competition between different groups would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll be like, my mile's going to be better than your mile.
Exactly.
A wee saying, and I keep on saying, don't be the missing link. The reason being is that there is a lot of people saying, oh, well, you know what? No, didn't bother putting me into any group or anything. I'm just going to go along to the Kelpies, or I'm just going to go along to Falkirk Wheel. And we're like, no, you're actually not. If you're an individual, if you're classed an individual and there's 1,000 individuals, that's one link. And you will go into the links where you've got to be allocated because you will be the missing link.
Yeah.
We may come across as being a wee bit persuasive or bossy at times, but it's to make sure that this works. We don't want it just to be us and the other admins. We want all the other hubs to get involved, take ownership. You know, there was one of the hubs replied to me, we had a committee meeting and there's only 3 people for our hub wanting to go. So, well, go and get more. You know, go out there, get your hub enthused, go out into the street, get flyers going. This is historical. You're doing this for your country. You know, you don't just sit in a meeting and say, oh, well, it's okay, there's only 3 can go. We'll just leave it at that.
We've had that. What happens if it rains? And I was like, you're in Scotland. You're in Scotland. And just remember, today's rain is tomorrow's whiskey, and we'll make a lot of money from that.
Yes, exactly. There's not really any bad weather. There's just that you've got the wrong clothes on. Isn't
That's exactly what Billy Connolly says.
Yeah. So
a row of saltire umbrellas across the country, that could be smart.
And the saltire rain max.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
About publicising it, you know, you haven't mentioned anything about any of the if you've got any finance for it. So I'm sitting here kind of assuming that probably you don't, and it would be for individual groups produce leaflets and things. But if you got anything worked out as a flyer that people can just get hold of the design and get some printed off?
The designs are all on the actual Facebook page, and it's also got the QR code on as well. It takes you right into it.
Oh,
perfect.
Good. That's great.
If you got the Facebook page, there is actually a section where you can find all of these flyers and all of these. Yeah, even the wee logo that we've got. You know, the round that you've got here. Yeah, that's on there as well. So there's quite a lot of people actually putting that as their profile on their Facebook page. That's all available on the Facebook page.
Glasgow Northwest, we haven't had a stall out for ages, but the other group I'm part of, which is Glasgow's Pensioners for Indie, they're out on Argyle Street twice a week, and there's another gang of people who go out have a stall up in Mulgai. So they could also be part of that, and you know, go in, get all the design and things, and hand them out to people. Fantastic. That's really good to know.
There are a few people across the country that's actually downloading these and actually putting them out. That's our second batch. We got there on Saturday for InverYess. Yes. So we were handing them out all day on Saturday. Again, up here in InverYess, we do a monthly walk round the town. We call it a wellbeing walk, which is really after COVID, and I think everybody was getting into the bit of the doldrums come the winter months. So for October onwards, we have been doing a monthly walk. Yeah. And there might be only 16 people turn up, but the next time there might be 46 people turn up. And we're all like-minded people. They all can come back to the hub. They can all have a bowl of soup. I usually make homemade soup and what have you, pancakes or tablet or whatever, and it's all there. And it means that people can get together. It's trying to get people to get together. Yeah. And it's over that winter months, instead of just lying underneath your duvet on a Saturday because you A, can't afford to go to the shops, B, you don't want to go anywhere, you know, get up, come out with us, have a wee walk for just a half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, come back, have a blether. And it is so good for your mental health. We do that every month, and we hand all these leaflets out on the way around.
Yeah, so that's fantastic.
So you don't need to be in a Yes group
No, we've actually a few individuals that have got this downloaded and are actually getting them printed off themselves and going round and handing them out and putting them in strategic places in supermarkets and notice boards and around the universities, back of a train seat. And so there is just a few out there just now. If there's anybody else likes to do it, please get on board. And certainly if we could engage more of the hubs and that as well, because it's like we've said a few times, this is everybody's chain, just like it's everybody's independence. You know, it's not up to just us to keep badgering everybody to try and enthuse them.
So what is the process for a hub to get involved, to register then?
If you go on to our Facebook page, there is a separate link from the one. This QR code is for individuals, families and parties of friends and that. There's a separate link for hubs to join. Then you're put into the section that you request. Once we've got our numbers up more, you will be divided and we'll let you know if you're in section A, 11A, 11B, 11C, what it is you picked, and who you're going to be with.
Fantastic.
So, and you just work alongside one another to make sure your section's fine. Also, the other idea is, depending where you live, you might be able to share transport. The furthest hub out could rent a bus and then share the costs with them that are nearer.
Are you asking for volunteers to be stewards as well?
The first registration form we put out actually had that in it. But what we would do probably, maybe even shortly, is go back out to those that didn't fill in that bit, because it wasn't compulsory. It was only, would you like to? So we might go back out to those that didn't fill in that bit and just say, by any chance, would you like to A, B, C, D? Would you like to be a steward? Would you like to put out some more leaflets for us? We've got some that are offering to be first aiders. That kind of thing. One gentleman I know of, he's going to be contacting the reporters, get it onto their local gazette, I think it is, he said, and other papers. So if there's anybody out there got press connections, please use them, get the Chain of Freedom out there. Don't know how, but the National managed to find Alan Cummins' post on my Twitter. They actually shared that in their Sunday paper.
It's been really great, actually, kind of listening to the pair of you and getting a bit of a sense of, but from my point of view, a bit more of a sense of where all the idea came from and how you're going to manage. I put my money on you both, actually, to get it without any bits where there's no flags and no people.
What are your numbers like? You said 78,000. Where are you?
We're sitting roughly about 10 so far.
10,000.
So so we're a way
to go.
That's still pretty good, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Bear in mind, them 10,000 people. I did a post within the first couple of weeks on the Facebook page, because I mean that's how much is in the sort of the Facebook page as it is. So and when I said to them, how many people are actually members of the Facebook page, but are bringing along members of family? Every one of them 10,000 people said yes. There's going to be me and 5 others, me and 6 others. Whilst we've only got these numbers on, you can multiply that by 5 or 6, because most people are taking people with them. However, numbers are like gold to us just now. So we need to have that number so as we then can allocate that section so we know that link is filled. Yeah.
So the message we want to get out to anybody who's in a Yes group, anybody who's in a hub, if you haven't already registered your group, do it now. Go on the Facebook page. And if you've got any questions about that,
email us, because our email is on our Facebook page and that, because to be honest, there is just so many comments. We're flooded with comments. So perhaps if anybody has a specific question, please not one asking what part of the canal is nearest to somewhere else. I'll just be going on to Google Maps the same as you would be doing. And if you live there, you should know. Questions more around about the process or how hubs are going to interact with each other, and also with us.
InverYess up here have been approached by several Yes groups in the Highlands here to say, can we just come to your link? the one that you have already registered to? And the answer to that is, of course you can.
Yes.
Because it means we're all together, we're all in one link, and we're making up that link. It's just so important that everybody starts to think, you know what, this is going to be historical. This is going to be our chance to show the rest of the world that what we can do when we come together. Yeah. We're not going to sit down and be quiet. I mean, not that would ever but you know, I think that our passion for it does overspill and onto others.
That's right, actually. It's such an imaginative kind of, you know, project to get underway, and it's for all of us. It's for all of us. Everyone who's listening to this, just get on that Facebook page, get your name down.
There will be people that can't make it for one reason or another, whether they're less abled or not able to do that walk, etc.
Or unfortunately, some that are no longer here. Yeah, no longer here.
What we've said is that write names onto that flag. Write their names onto that flag.
Get your big Sharpie and write the name, big huge letters. Anybody that's that would have liked to have come along.
Yeah.
So they're still represented on the chain.
They're still represented. They're still.
Yeah, it's good. It's just fantastic hearing about it.
Oh, what a great initiative. Something for us all to get behind. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back again next Friday, and we'll catch you later. Bye now.